We're
Hi.
live. Yeah. That's it. Are we? I expected Ben to say something. We're all upset.
I mean,
We've all been devastated by Vamilator, who we will promptly ban for saying. Can you read that one more time for us, Liam?
Yeah, with the risk of being banned,
Was a risk.
This matchup is Piccolo.
Yeah.
And someone is going to get knuckled up.
Yeah, that threw us off our game to start with. We all saw that, and it's just...
Hey, everybody, welcome to
Thank you,
the
Vamilator.
Battlecast. Yes, and Vamilator is officially banned. Wink. No, today we have an exciting matchup to talk about. We're talking about everybody's favorite Dragon Ball character, the Green Man himself, Piccolo. I guess he's not green anymore. Wow. Well, kind of. Versus
But Knuckles can be.
Well, no, Knuckles isn't green. He's red.
Right? What do you have comics?
I don't know how those got there. I'm not gonna be arguing for Archie Knuckles. Okay?
I don't believe
this doesn't
you.
matter. I'm gonna be arguing for Game Knuckles. Game Knuckles. This is nothing. I don't know how those got there. Anyway, we are gonna be talking about Piccolo versus Knuckles. I'm gonna be representing Knuckles, the rad red man himself. Liam will be taking on Piccolo, the green guy.
Yeah, the green
and
goblin.
We're gonna find out who wins a death battle today, and you are all going to vote on the winner at the end of the show. Thank you all for joining. Great to see all the members in chat with your badges. Good to see you guys. And Happy New Year. I wasn't on last week, so this is my first New Year episode. It's great to be here. Yeah, so if you don't know, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz. That's Chad. Voice of Boomstick.
Hi.
That's Liam. Voice of Liam.
Nope,
That's Sam.
not Liam.
Also voice of Liam.
Also,
It
what's
is
Liam?
cold.
Yeah. It is cold.
It is.
I got the blanket, Liam style down here. I'm fucking
Nice.
trying to stay warm. Liam, y'all don't know, but most of the time Liam also in a blanket. I feel like
A big old cozy fucking blanket right below me. Yeah, sometimes I pull it up to my neck too.
Yeah.
I'm feeling extra.
not now
comfy
though, because you're in California, living the nice life, right?
No, yeah, it's nice out here.
Yeah.
It's warm, but it's
Snow
also
burden.
cold.
Yeah.
It's cold not in an aggressive hate way. It's cold in like I can walk out and do a walk and have a t-shirt
Yeah.
and it's breezy.
Cardigan weather, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's our show.
That's it. There you go.
Do we
talk about the weather and then we're gone?
Do we want to wait until our brand new segment to show it off, or do we want to talk about it and explain it first?
We'll wait till the brand new segment, but
okay.
I will say, so when the Kickstarter was happening last year, right? One of the rewards for backing was you get to pitch a matchup to us, and we've started doing those. We're a ways into them at this point, and every single pitch has been super interesting and phenomenal. A lot of people, a lot of amazing people that we've met through this, and but there was a certain tier where it was like, hey, not only do you get to pitch your matchup to us, but we will talk about it on Death Battle Cast, and we're going to be talking about the first one later on in the show, and it's got a franchise that I don't think we may have talked about in cast, but we've definitely never had in Death Battle. So stay tuned for that, because I'm very curious what y'all think about.
I don't even think we've talked about it on cast.
We've had to. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right.
All right, but first we got the serious conversation that we really need to get to, which is Piccolo versus Knuckles. Right?
So
that
serious.
one's super important. So serious.
Green.
So serious.
Yes.
Liam, you wanna talk a little bit about Piccolo, Mr. Picky?
Yeah, I'll do it. So Piccolo, he's green. He's mean. He's gonna fucking kill you. He's gonna kill your whole family. He's gonna kill everyone that you've ever known and loved. He's really, really powerful. He is a Dragon Ball character. Surprise, surprise. And with I'm pretty sure that he was able to scale to like Dragon Ball Super characters previous to Dragon Ball Superhero, the new movie. But with that, he's now like he's been elevated to like relevant status for the next like 5 or so seconds before like more plot happens, and then he's just but for the sake of that movie, he got a big old orange transformation, and he genuinely becomes one of the most powerful characters in the series. Arguably the second most powerful or third most powerful in the series at that exact point. He is also just by far the smartest member of the Z Fighters, as compared to Knuckles, who is the dumbest member of the Sonic Fighters.
Wow.
So I think I'm pretty confident about his chances going up against Game Knuckles. Game Knuckles.
Yes. That's what we're talking
Game
about. We're talking about Game
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Game
Okay,
Knuckles.
So what it sounded like to me is that your argument boils down to he's relevant.
He is, which is a massive accomplishment in Dragon Ball. If your name
For any
I mean, I don't
any
know
of the
if it made him the second
non-Z
or
fighters,
third
like
most powerful. All the most powerful characters in that movie are just off on another planet hanging out, and
I
leave it to the Z tier fighters.
I say that genuinely because there is like Piccolo and Gohan both go, man, Cell is so strong. I don't think if Goku and Vegeta were here that they'd be able to handle this. And there's later narration that says like this battle is the most powerful of all time.
They say that all the time. They do that with everybody.
They do not say that all the time.
They did that with General Rildo. Remember that guy?
General Rildo was stronger than Boo. He was stronger than Boo. I'm sorry it sucks. I'm sorry we don't like that, but he is. The Dragon Ball GT characters are stronger than Z characters. That was accurate. I hate that his name is Dildo, but like it's true.
Has Oob been brought into it, the kid, yet? Is that still like
Oob,
a running thing?
No one gives a fuck about Oob.
They check in on him like once in a blue moon, right?
They're sort of setting him up for like a potential future arc that's never coming because Dragon Ball Super is long dead. And they're gonna do something else probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember in the whatever it was, not the Tournament of Champions, but whatever they had. The Tournament of Universes or whatever. In that arc, they're like, "What about Oob?" And they look at him for 3 seconds. And they're like, "He's getting strong, but he's not strong enough yet." And they go away. And that's like they have this one scene where he's like, "We looked at him, okay, acknowledged, back to here." Like. Yeah, man, it would be if they had a Chaozu Yamcha buddy cop anime, that would be lit.
Talk about the first character to have been like genuinely abandoned by the narrative. Chaozu has never been relevant.
What a legend! Like literally, blows himself up to try and save his homies. Like Chaozu he might be weak, but he's a real one. There's no doubt about that.
I think Chaozu's peak popularity was on Team 4-Star.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Probably.
Also, I want to get to this later, but Piccolo, I didn't realize this until recently. The center of, I think, the most egregious plot hole in all of Dragon Ball, and we know Dragon Ball, love Dragon Ball. So many plot holes, so many things that just don't make any sense.
With Piccolo specifically,
Piccolo there is a plot point that involves Piccolo that is the most egregious, I think, in the entire series.
Oh, but you're saving this for
that
later.
No one talks about. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
interested.
Okay, well, let me talk about
really
Knuckles real quick.
Yeah.
So Knuckles is, of course, the guardian of the Master Emerald, the one of, if not the last echidnas in existence in the games. Not in these comics. In the comics, there's Knuckles. There's other Knuckles everywhere until they lost them all in a lawsuit. But Knuckles is, they say he's as strong as Sonic is fast. That is how unbelievably beefed up, how jacked up this guy is, despite having spaghetti arms. And he's fast enough to keep up with Sonic. He's an incredibly powerful fighter, incredible skilled fighter. He trains all the time. His entire life existence is about defending the Master Emerald. Everything about his character is about that and fighting off people who want it. That's how he's introduced in the game. In fact, he's introduced in the very first game, thinking Sonic is there to take the Master Emerald. He punches him so fucking hard that he knocks him out of supersonic form with one punch. Doesn't make any sense? Yeah, absolutely. It just means he's incredibly powerful.
It's because he's got the little spiky things.
It's because he's got the little spiky things, which in the games are never really explained. So anyway, he's really strong. Like in the games, he's really powerful. Obviously, fast enough to keep up with Sonic. I mean, if I was using Archie, I mean,
which you're not.
In Archie, there is a moment where he survives being disintegrated, just absolutely fucking torn to atoms, and
sick.
Then in the next issue, he just kind of pops up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was weird. It's fine."
Yeah, that would be weird.
But I'm not using Archie.
Yeah.
I'm not using Archie. I'm using Game Knuckles.
Sure.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware, has not been disintegrated into literal atoms. Anyway.
There's Knuckles.
Both
there's Knuckles.
Gilded Data
but
and
not
Super
the
Money
character we're talking about.
and Orange Blaster all gifted out 5 memberships. So if you guys got
Thank
a
you.
championship, go check out. You can say hi in the chat now. And go check out all this stuff for you.
Actually, I do want to point out. So, given that it's a new year, obviously we've said this a million times, so I'm not gonna get stuck on this for too long. But again, thank you everybody who supported us getting 2024 done. Being able to bring the show back into 2024 at all.
Yeah.
It is thanks to all of you guys, obviously, supporting the Kickstarter, being here, watching and listening to this, being members on the channel. Something we didn't really get to dive into too much last year was membership content on the YouTube channel, right? And that's something we really want to focus on, making sure we build up this year. So that's one of our like big priorities for this year. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of new stuff for members going forward here, as well as our upcoming episode, which I'm very excited for, which is Kratos versus Asura. Those previews should be dropping later on this month, so keep an eye out for those. Very excited for that. Devil Artemis has been working on the animation for it. It's so freaking cool. It's so freaking cool. Yeah, we're very hyped for it. So anyway. That's what's coming up down the line. I'm curious though about good old Piccolo. I mean, he's just a big green Martian man, right? Like, what's gonna stop Knuckles from just punching his head off?
Yeah. So what's funny? I was doing research for Piccolo, and I realized, I was like, what am I doing?
I got shit on so much for talking shit about Metal Sonic last time I did this. I was like, I can't wait for people to shit on me for just talking smack about Piccolo. Big green Martian man. He's nobody. Whatever.
Nah, the Dragon Ball fan base, Ben? Nah.
Yeah, he's a big green Martian.
That's wrong. He's not from Mars.
He's in Namek.
He's not even
well,
from
actually,
Namek.
That's right.
As is revealed in Dragon Ball Daima. Although this is also very interesting. Okay, I'm going to preface this every time I want to talk about Dragon Ball. There is a YouTube channel called Mystere Fusion that I really highly recommend. They do a series called Dragon Ball Dissection where they go through everything Dragon Ball and analyze it and give analysis of stuff that even I had no idea this stuff was a thing. And one of the things that they talk about, I forget which episode it is, I'll watch it at some point. They talk about what makes a demon. This has sort of been made irrelevant now with Daima, where they're like, oh, Namekians aren't from Namek, they're from the demon realm. I believe that's what happened. I only saw the first episode of Daima, but I believe that's what they talk about in that. And it's because they have the pointy ears. That's like the indicator. But being a demon, Piccolo was a demon, and then was no longer a demon. That was not retconned as he was a demon. Oh, actually, he was actually an alien, not a demon. He was a demon and an alien, and then he just became an alien. It's not clear exactly when the transition happens, but it's roughly when he sacrifices himself for Gohan, becomes a good guy. A demon is like a at least before Daima is like a state of being, rather than inherently genetic. So Piccolo is a demon and an alien technically. He's a Dragon Ball character. He manipulates ki. Have you ever heard of ki? My favorite part of writing a Dragon Ball episode is getting to explain ki again.
Yeah.
And there's the section every time. We use the clip of Gohan doing that, showing Videl. Every time. I mean, he can manipulate his ki. He does have a larger variety of powers than the rest of the Z fighters because he has his regeneration. which got more and more ridiculous over time. One of my absolute favorite things in Dragon Ball is Cell saying, he's like, remember, I have Piccolo's regeneration. And then saying, I regenerate from a single cell in my head. That's not how Namekians regenerate. They can, like, regrow fucking arms and shit. But then, in the Buu saga, Piccolo is shattered into pieces when he's like a statue by Deborah. And then there's just like he's returned to flesh form after Deborah is killed, and he's just like a bunch of like flesh chunks on the ground. And then he just pops up a second later, completely fine. He's not even wheezing like he usually has to regrow an arm. He's just fine. He says, as long as my head is undamaged, I'm good. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you just making this shit up on the... Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I understand.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
also,
Kerboy
points out...
all the Namekians that Frieza killed, like Frieza goes to a town, kills a bunch of Namekians, goes, ha, and leaves, and then all of them get back up, and they're like, wow, that was...
They're fucking
weird.
weenies. They're such weenies. What? Like, he punched a hole through you? Whatever. I think
they're
maybe...
all pretending. They're all pretending.
Yeah.
I think, they're just playing possum, right? And then Frieza leaves him alone, and he's like, oh, fuck, he thinks he killed this.
Isn't it great that he never shoots us in the head? It's awesome.
This is so sick. I think that, like, it might be a technique that you either need to learn or that you need to have a certain amount of ki to do.
Well, Piccolo is also the spawn of the separated evil side of Kami or whatever. There's all sorts of crazy shenanigans going on with Piccolo specifically. So he's fused with Nail and with
Nail,
and Kami
he's
later.
Super
Kami,
2 times over. Interesting thing I learned: he inherited all of the abilities naturally from his father, who is also his pre-incarnation. That makes sense, right? But I didn't realize that includes the immortality, the eternal youth, that Demon King Piccolo wished for. He also has that. Once he reaches adult age, he will not age, so he is ageless.
How many years has it been since like Dragon Ball Z to Super? Because like Goku's not aging a lot either, right? Like, I mean,
well, they do have an explanation for that. Like the Saiyans age to a certain point, they look the same to maintain their fighting ability, and then there's a certain point where they just suddenly go like, "Oh, time to get old now."
Like
okay, but like Chi-Chi and other humans aren't like getting much older. It can't be more than like DBZ to Super can't be more than like 5 or 6 years, right?
No,
I think it's
Bulma's
like
using the Dragon Balls to keep herself young.
There you go.
That makes sense with Bulma.
Specifically to make her ass fit.
I literally, I was like, okay, how do we make a Botox joke? I'm like, she's getting that ball talks, and I was like, nope, that sounds no, didn't like it.
Good.
Kerboy says, I don't know, guys. I'm pretty sure Piccolo chuckles. We'll deflect with that. Haha. Somebody else said that they'd vote for you, Ben, if you did the Knuckles rap. So if you get desperate at some point,
see, I opened last time. I believe I argued for Knuckles like years ago, and I opened with the Knuckles rap. But if you need me to, I'll do it. Here, I'll pull it up.
I think it's more if you're feeling like you need it at the end, you do it.
You need one more vote.
If when we get to the end, you guys are like, I don't know about Knuckles. I'll do the rap, and then I'll win. Right? That's how.
No. And then I'll do Pumpkin Hill, and if you like that more, then Piccolo wins.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just do both. All right, but while I'm looking up the Knuckles rap, Chad, take it away with not the echidna, not the hedgehog, but the turtle.
That's right. Which are found on beaches, just like Dragon Ball and the hut, if you remember. Anyway, today's episode is sponsored by Turtle Beach. What's better than kicking back and playing like the Sonic game, like Shadow Generations? And you need the best cans to jam out that awesome soundtrack. That's where Turtle Beach's new Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset comes in. This gaming headset picks up so much crystal clear sound. It's basically cheating. Even if a snowblower is going off outside, you'll still hear every footstep, guitar riff, every time Knuckles goes, oh no. And Turtle Beach headsets are so freaking comfortable. You'll feel like you're wearing a marshmallow cloud pillow on your head. I can say they are very, very comfortable. And I have sensitive ears. They get certain headsets they don't like, but Turtle Beach, great. Best of all, the Stealth 700 has the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system, which sounds intense. It's great. That means you can seamlessly switch between your consoles and PC with just a click of a button. And it gets even better. While connected to your console, the Stealth 700 can connect with your phone for music streaming or taking calls at the same time. For me, I use it for audiobooks. It's great. So you can live the dream of rocking out to live and learn on every single level. For a limited time only, stay warm and level up your game. It's time to spend that Christmas money on something you'll actually love. Head to turtlebeach.com and use code DBC for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code DBC. Because remember, they got stuff more than headsets too. So there's a bunch of great stuff over in Turtle Beach, and you get 10% off your whole order. Thank you, Turtle Beach, for continuing to sponsor us. I'm so excited.
Nailed it.
Know the very first line in two things. First of all, the Pumpkin Hill rap is called a ghost pumpkin soup.
Yeah, I did not know that. Oh, ... for Pumpkin Hill.
Yeah. And the very first line is, you know me, the fighting freak, Knuckles.
Yeah,
he's
a
fighting
freak. He's a fighting freak. He's also the one rapping. He's also the one rapping.
He's the one that's been unknown for me as well. So yeah.
This would have been this hit mid 90s, right? Like if you wanted
this is 2000s.
Really?
Sonic Adventure 2 is 2001? No, Sonic Adventure 1 was
still
early 2000s.
Okay.
So
same general, yeah.
I mean,
post 9/11. I don't know.
Post That's my theory about why the Dreamcast is so beloved, is because it's the last pre 9/11 game console.
Yeah,
I know that sounds completely insane, but I think
there's probably some truth to it because it's like a different era, especially for those people growing up in that era. Yeah.
There's a theory about the like millennial golden childhood moments, and they all take place between the release of Shrek and 9/11.
Jesus Christ.
And they're like, that was when our world was at its peak, was like Shrek hit, and then it was all good until,
Let me tell you, when I saw Shrek in movie theaters, that shit was a fucking narcotic. That was the greatest
dude.
And All-Star Plays, dude, you don't understand. You don't understand how good it was.
Yeah.
We were at the store the other day, and like one of those like Hootie the Blowfish, Counting Crows style, like really upbeat, like alt rock songs was on, right? And then I was just like, man, whatever happened to like upbeat, happy alt rock? And she's like, it was the 90s. We were all happy then. And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
All right, Zelth Revenant in chat, Liam, is making an argument for you. Piccolo can become kaiju-sized, pop the moon, regen, and fly. Knuckles only broke a chunk of the moon, dies without rings, and just falls with style. And I think you might be thinking of a wrong Knuckles, because Knuckles is a fighting freak.
This one's a fighting freak.
Freak, man. Just a freak about fighting.
Far more capable of than that. First of all, like I said, he is in his very first introduction in base form, he punched Supersonic out of his super form. And if that is like an outlier, right? Oh, Knuckles just tapped into the chaos power or something to knock him out, whatever. At the end of the game, Knuckles fights Super Mecha Sonic in base form and beats the shit out of him. So there are two examples in his very first appearance of Knuckles defeating a super form while in base form. And of course, Knuckles has his own super forms, right? You can get Super Knuckles in the game. You can also get Hyper Knuckles, who is this like flashing form that can just insta-kill everything on screen in a single, just a push of a button. He is immensely powerful, and there's just no way Piccolo, freaking Martian Man Piccolo, is going to be able to survive getting blasted in the face with Hyper Knuckles' power. And I mean, and if I were, doing Archie's side,
like, if you were, which you're not,
like, he can access Hyper Knuckles pretty much instantaneously. He looks kind of like this.
That looks
crazy
special.
looking, and he can wipe out an entire army in an instant, rewrite minds, fix corruption, Basically, just like because they're like magically corrupted, and basically just to destroy the shit out of every bad guy he wants in just 2 pages, and then like this is part of a 4-page series, right? And they're just struggling to deal with the Dark Legion and whatnot. And then he solves all the problems in 2 pages. And everything's just done after that, because Hyper Knuckles is just he's just the shit. He's a
you heard it here.
Super fighting
Hyper
freak.
Knuckles.
Super fighting freak.
Which is not relevant at all to this debate. But yes,
no. I'm obviously arguing specifically for Game Knuckles.
Game Knuckles.
But Hyper Knuckles. If I were arguing for Archie, Hyper Knuckles is also capable of fighting Supersonic head to head, literally like ramming right into him. And their collision destroyed an entire universe, just obliterated it.
And how are they? How is
it
Knuckles?
says unimaginable raw energy erupts, literally bending time and space. The walls containing the zone's reality begin warping wildly. The zone can no longer contain itself. It swells, it cracks, it explodes. And Knuckles is just fine. He just kind of dips out and leaves. He actually gets up before Sonic, right? Sonic is still knocked out. Then he wakes up and he's like, where's Knuckles? And Sally's like, oh, he just left. He just left. Because in Archie Sonic like continuity, it's kind of frequently referenced or like implied that Knuckles is like way tougher than Sonic and would kick the shit out of him if he actually fought. But I'm not talking about Archie. Knuckles. I'm talking about Game Knuckles.
This isn't like a horrible alternate universe that doesn't exist. One of those bleak fucking like Terminator alternate universes where you're arguing for Archie Knuckles, which is not a thing happening in this universe.
Exactly. It's not happening right now. But I mean, like, if I was to, there is an example where, like, in all the games and whatnot, they're constantly referencing this idea that like Sonic and Knuckles, they're fighting each other. They're always like evenly matched or whatever. And Sonic is super powerful, right? Like, he's obviously faster than light. In Archie Sonic, Super Sonic's able to rewrite all of reality across multiple different like dimensions and timelines and things like that. But all of their fights end with like that, right? They explode a fucking universe, then Knuckles dips out, or it's a tie, or they get interrupted by Robotnik. Except for one, in Mecha Madness, which is a 48-page super special, which I got as a kid. Sonic's been turned into a robot, and he's evil now. So
wait, that's never happened before.
Yeah, what the Freedom Fighters do is they're like, well, our solution is to turn Knuckles into a robot and throw him at Mecha Sonic. And he does. And he fucking wins.
Yeah.
He beats his ass. Not only does it beat his ass, he hits him so hard, it creates a literal nuclear explosion that knocks the shit out of Mecha Sonic. And Knuckles is in the nuclear explosion, and he's fine. Like, he's a little beat up or whatever, but like then he gets right back up. Robotnik's there, and he beats the shit out of Robotnik for good measure. And he just wins. There's a canonical victory of Knuckles beat the shit out of Sonic, which does not happen usually. But anyway, I'm not arguing for Archie Knuckles.
Yeah, because that's completely irrelevant. So completely and totally not happening.
Also, apparently you called 13th Revenant Zilf again, so he says Liam gets his vote for sure.
Oh, God.
I do what?
Who knows?
Hey, Vamulator gets it out 10 memberships.
Here I come.
Despite
the rest of them. The best of them. Tougher than leather.
Oh, here we go.
You know me, the Fighting Freak Knuckles, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just going creep. Down at Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece.
No.
What piece is lost?
I know. I had the exact.
Oh, okay.
Master Emerald. I had the exact same fucking thought. Like Knuckles dropped his fucking gun.
If anyone was gonna be strapped up, it would be Knuckles, though.
All right.
Ben.
And on that note, Liam, I'm sure you have something very important to say.
I'm gonna fucking argue it all.
I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. But first, we have to talk about a sponsor for this week's episode, Chime. And then you can chime in and, talk about what you want to talk about. We all know that life is full of extra fees. Whether you're buying a movie ticket, booking a flight, buying tickets to a concert, or you're Liam trying to get a word in and I'm interrupting him. It always seems like there's extra expenses that can make it feel like you're always taking 2 steps back when it comes to getting ahead on your finances. And with a Chime checking account, Financial progress is easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Getting an overdraft fee can be ridiculous, right? And Chime agrees. They allow you to overdraft up to $200 with no fees. Chime is also a financial institution who believes in community. Your friends can join in and give you a boost, which temporarily increases your spot me limit. And that's basically how Chime helps you avoid debt. Here's how it works. You can set up a direct deposit with your Chime account. After a deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in their Spot Me program. From there, Chime can literally spot you when you're in a bind, even up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. They've spotted over $30 billion in transactions so far. So make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/death. That's chime.com/death. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank, NA, or Stride Bank, NA, members of DIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits do apply. There's direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals. It's a really easy service to check out and look at, and if it's something that like appeals to you or seems like something that would really help you out, highly recommend it. Definitely check it out.
I always love when they choose to use the code death. It's
yeah, I mean, how can you not love that? It's like, yeah, I mean, you could choose battle, but no, they're like, no, death.
No, just go with death. That's cool. We're like, all right, go use death for money,
I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Liam, what did you want to say?
So I think that Super Knuckles would be a really big threat for Piccolo, and would be able to really seriously damage him. I just think that Piccolo does have this one unique ability that actually, interestingly, counters a lot of what Super Knuckles can do, which is that he'd be really seriously injured by Knuckles, and then he would remove his clothes, his weighted clothing, and then he would fucking kick his ass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I was like, you could have explained that better. Like, and he just when he's stripped
strip
down,
his fucking clothes off, bare ass naked,
and nobody wants to fight that. Like,
hey, guess what? Knuckles already is naked. He's good to go.
He's like, you're fighting me like a real warrior.
As we know, he is a fighting freak, so you know.
Yeah, he's like a freak. There's nothing. I guess he's wearing shoes.
I think he's got shoes, gloves, and fur.
He's mostly naked,
right?
You know, it's enough.
So yeah, I think that jokes and well, should I do the no? I'll do jokes. I'll jump into I'll do the plot hole after this. Jokes aside, Piccolo, by the time of Dragon Ball Superhero, even if he isn't like one of the strongest, like the absolute strongest in the universe, aside from Cell Max and Beast Gohan. Although, this is not unreasonable. There have been multiple times in Dragon Ball when Piccolo briefly and completely irrelevant to the plot ultimately is the strongest character, like is the strongest of the Z fighters. It's when he's wished to Namek. We're gonna talk about that. It's when he fuses with Nail and when he fuses with Kami. He does happen to be the strongest character at those individual times. Did it matter? No. But he is like a I mean, he's a universe buster, like a cajillion times over. You could argue Knuckles, like Super Knuckles, to like universe level around there via like Bowser versus Eggman, but Knuckles or Piccolo is so far beyond. It's kind of cuckoo crazy. Like I'm talking millions of times. So he would just obliterate Knuckles. And if you even want to argue the invincibility of the super form, that it somehow is stronger, the invincibility is somehow a billion times stronger than like the power of the emeralds itself, then he would just wait it out. I mean, Knuckles can't do it. Wait it, and they poof out and you'd kill him. But what's really important, and he's also faster, but what's really important
love that,
is so on Namek.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I never thought of this as like the biggest plot, but it's awful. On Namek, Piccolo, so they got the Dragon Balls, and this is when Vegeta is sleeping, and Krillin and Gohan make their wishes. Piccolo, very wisely, this is like a smart Piccolo moment, goes, wish me back to life first, because then if I'm alive, Kami will come back to life and we'll be able to make use of the Earth Dragon Balls. This is an intelligent decision.
Mm-hmm.
Second wish, he says, wish me to Namek, the place with the guy that is a billion times stronger than me and will fucking kill me instantly, and thus also kill Kami and completely undo everything that I just said. Wish me to Namek. I want to fight. That's the dumbest thing ever. That's so stupid. Right? Like, he's undoing his own plan by wishing himself to Namek, because now he's putting himself in danger, and thus putting Kami in danger, and thus undoing the... And he does almost die. He does almost die, like, several times during that. He fights Frieza purely by chance. Is he as strong as second form Frieza? He didn't know about Nail. He didn't know about any of that shit. He just went, I want to fucking... I can do it. Give me a fucking chance. And he just happens to be as
without
strong as second
Nail,
form Frieza.
not happening.
Without Nail,
not
cooked.
happening.
And he's only as strong as Frieza for like 10 seconds, like for like half a chapter, and then he is like made irrelevant again for the rest of the, except when he kicks Frieza to distract Goku. So I just think that that's like so funny. That's up there with like the Goku not saying against Majin Vegeta of like dull moments in the series. I just
say that's a plot hole. I mean, that sounds to me like
just bad.
He's just a terrible fighter.
Yeah,
he just is a terrible strategist. He just doesn't know what he's doing. And I mean, Knuckles has been duped before, yes, but not in combat. Knuckles is a skilled fighter. He's not a skilled, like, you know, negotiator or anything like that, because he's never trained to do that. He's like on his own on the island. He lives by himself, basically. So you can dupe him, you know, like by telling him, hey, this blue hedgehog's definitely a villain. Go beat him up. But once he actually gets into a fight, nah, he's beating the shit out of you. So sounds like Piccolo is just a worse fighting strategist to me. Yeah, I don't know. Really,
at the very least, more
really
arrogant.
bad call. Yeah.
Blue I think it goes for Dragon Ball characters in general.
And you know what, Helton? Yes, you are right. Knuckles doesn't chuckle, and that's going to probably come into play. Absolutely.
So many people have been saying that. Yeah, Blue E2 says in Sonic Generation, Sonic fixed time with his speed alone. So
yeah. He used his speed to fix the time meter shenanigans. And again, Knuckles is as strong as Sonic is fast, which means, I guess technically, when the time meter was eating up all of time and space, Knuckles could have been like, I'm going to punch it back.
Punch
space so hard it's fixed. Okay, so there is something I do want to get to that is a little new to us. It's a new little segment.
I'm ready to hit the button.
That we're going to be calling. I don't know why we decided on this,
because I asked.
We were like, hey, we're going to start doing this regularly. And somebody was like, should we call it something? And we're like, sure. And then we just did it. So welcome to our new segment, The Kick of the Week. There it is.
Yeah. I think it happened because we were talking about how Torian used to have that flip of the week thing like 7 years ago, probably more.
Yeah.
And so Chad had a lot of rough ideas too.
Yeah, that's true. But I was just like, hey, does anyone want to make a really shitty motion graphic? And then DJ just goes, say less. What do you want? And then the DJ put that together.
Scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it make sense? Alicorn, does it make sense?
Chads were all like vulgar puns. I can't remember them, but they were, It was stuff like kicked in the cast or some shit like that.
It doesn't make any sense if I don't explain what it actually is. The Kick of the Week is the mashup that you guys suggested.
I get to play it again.
Through the Kickstarter. Oh no, is this going to be one of those things where every time I say it? No.
No, it's not, because I'm the one that would have to put in the effort, and you know I'm not going to do it every time.
Kick of the week.
A lot of you guys had submitted matchup pitches that were
for you.
The goal is to show them off on Death Metal Cast, and that's what Kick of the Week is. It's the Kickstarter pitches, essentially. So I don't know. All right, so the first one we're going to be talking about this week, this comes from a backer named Ben, and he suggested Palpatine, you know, Darth Sidious, the Star Wars guy, versus This is the franchise that I don't think we've talked about. Makuta from Bionicle. And I think this is kind of sick. Like, if anybody in chat, Bionicle fans, I had Bionicles when I was a kid. I was into the first two generations. I think I was old enough for that. And I remember subscribing to the comic book as well and trying to read through that. And first of all, I grew up with Archie Sonic, right? Which is fucking incomprehensible. It's nonsense. I could not tell you what the hell happened in those Bionicle comics because they are also just like wild shit going
They're very
on.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about Bionicle on cast at all. Like I know we talked about, unless like Ninjago counts, but I don't think that's
they have
Bionicle.
Yeah, it's something.
There are some similarities, like just as like, you know, in the sense that you produce these kind of teen-age shows like with the same archetypes, right? But yeah, I mean, essentially from like Piccolo is the big bad of Bionicles, much the same as Darth Sidious is the big bad of Star Wars.
Thousands
Makuta
upon thousands of years old.
Yeah, he's an ancient entity, the rival to Matanui, who's like the planet essentially. Or the island that they're on for the first arc. Bionicle has a bunch of different stories and arcs and whatnot with different villains. But Makuta's like the big bad for the first section and has this whole plot where he's like manipulating everything behind the scenes and everything sort of like becomes all fucked up because of him. And he's incredibly powerful, right? So we're talking about two incredibly powerful magic essentially users using the magic force of their worlds against each other. I think it would be a pretty dope like full cast. I think it would be a pretty cool episode as well, though we could get into some really like crazy shenanigans with the different powers that they have. So I'm curious what chat thinks who would win. I'm curious what all of you think, because I'm leaning towards Makuta just because he's so freaking powerful and massive in scale and whatnot. But I mean, Palpatine's no joke, obviously.
Yeah, Palpatine's insane too, but I don't know. There's something about the robot aspect that really gets me. But Ben was
Would
talking
he be
about
immune to the Force because it's like a machine thing? I mean, they're
because machines.
Because they manipulate. They've done
from something I do understand about the Bionicles when we were talking about Ben and Liam. We were in a pitch call with them as well, and I do like Bionicles like. They don't have organs, but their like soul energy core is still like inside them. But I don't think, I think that would give him an advantage over Sidious, because Sidious is so used to killing like organic things or like robot. There's not like powerful robots to a Jedi in Star Wars, right? Whereas like this is a robot that has like a way higher power level than anything Sidious would have ever encountered.
If Palpatine got a hold of the very simple to understand instruction manual for building a Bionicle, specifically Makuta, would he be able to use the Force to like disconnect him like at each like?
I'm pretty sure he'd just be able to connect himself back together. Like he's an entity that kind of controls that sort of level of reality. This is one of the reasons why when I was a kid, when I'm reading through it, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Because he's almost presented as like this eldritch deity in the original comics. So he's just like this immense force that kind of controls
we had this pitch a couple weeks ago, but I believe Makutas are also like the type of Bionicle he is, and they have like a whole selection of they're just much more powerful and have a whole bunch access to a lot more powers than the other Bionicles do. It seemed like it made like quite a bit of sense. It seemed like a really genuinely pretty cool matchup.
I put up the poll in chat. If you haven't voted, go for it. It's really close. It's really close.
Let's take a look.
We currently have 52% voting for Palpatine, 48% voting for Makuta, who would win in a death battle. So that's kind of crazy. It looks to me like this is a pretty interesting match for sure. Yeah, a lot of people talking about how Bionicle lore is nuts. It's wild. Luke straight up crushed a Dark Trooper through the Force, so I firmly believe Palps could just crush Makuta. Yeah, but like, is Makuta like a Dark Trooper? You have like magic or whatever to counter that, right? So Makuta could potentially use his own power to counter that.
Also, telekinesis in in Star Wars like can be. I mean, it if you're tough enough, you can resist it. Like if your skin is like, you wouldn't be able to do it to Superman. So it would be a matter of durability.
Yeah. Also, the general consensus from the chat was hell yeah, Bionicle.
Yeah, dude, vote Bionicle, bro.
I feel like it's something like we haven't touched on really. So it's like Bionicles, Ninjago. There's like all these things. Although we've talked about Ninjago on cast, it's like I don't know. It's a pretty untapped territory for us.
Yeah. All right. Michael McDonald says the Force can still crush robots.
Oh, no doubt it can crush robots, but
like, this is like super powerful semi-god robot. So
yeah,
basically
robots that also have their own force kind of thing going on.
I'm ending the poll. Our victor for this week's Kick of the Week is Palpatine with 55% of the vote. All right. Well, let us know in the comments if you think you agree and if you want to see it as a full episode, because I'm very curious what people have to say about it. Also,
that was
just Bionicle in general. Like, should we bring Bionicle in, and should it be Makuta? Like, would you be interested in seeing a different Bionicle character? I would love to know what everybody's thinking.
I mean, new franchises are how we help keep the show fresh, Ben. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Which reminds me of our final sponsor of this episode, HelloFresh.
Hello.
You've probably heard of them, but what is HelloFresh exactly? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. No need to figure out what's for dinner each night or write up a schedule for your week of meals. With 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals to choose from each week, HelloFresh helps get dinner done the easy way. And if you're really short on time, HelloFresh's 15-minute meals are done in just 3 simple steps, so you can eat better this year without all the hassle. Oh man, let me tell you, I love cooking, but I absolutely hate prep for cooking. So that's the best part. It's like you have your own little team of chefs that have planned everything and pre-portioned all the ingredients for you, and then it arrives, and you follow the really easy to do instructions, and you just make it all really quick, and it's good to go. Especially with somebody who has a family whose kids are constantly like, "Hey, I'm hungry," and it's like, "I just fed you," and they're like, "Yeah, but I'm hungry again," and it's just like, "Okay, great. Well, I can bust out the HelloFresh, and I can whip you up a meal super quick." Because man, the amount of times they come in and like, "Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet?" Yeah, HelloFresh goes quick. It's great and it's delicious. So get up
As
to
somebody
10
who hates cooking, it's also very helpful. It does all the hard work for me.
You get your mise en place, so it's nice.
Yeah. But because you guys are watching Death Battle Cast, you can get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/cast10fm. 1 item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on first box, new subscribers only, and varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/cast10fm. That's CAST10FM. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Thanks, HelloFresh.
All right. So let's get into our final arguments as we start wrapping up Knuckles versus Piccolo. I know there's some things you were alluding to earlier, Liam.
No.
There wasn't anything else you wanted to talk about.
A billion times universe level obliterates Knuckles. There's no, like, he's faster, he's stronger. Knuckles
a billion
the only way
times
could potentially
universe level.
Yeah, at least. Oh my god, by super at least. Oh Jesus. Yeah, he's gonna fucking annihilate. He's gonna fucking annihilate Knuckles. God, there's nothing he can do. Game Knuckles. There's nothing he could do to Game Knuckles.
Well, I mean, in the game,
recovering.
like, again, Knuckles could fight super forms. He's got his own super form, and we know that the super forms battled Solaris. I mean, this classic feat, right? Solaris could wipe out all of time and space across multiple dimensions. That's multiple universes. And super forms could compete.
We just did Bowser versus Eggman. He's like 2 times universe level. That's like what we settled on. Which is great, which is fantastic, very strong. Not as much as when you get into like Goku and Beerus like blowing up a universe, and then that's like base Goku, and then like times 1,000 times. The orange Piccolo is definitely stronger than like every
Base
version
Goku.
of Goku, aside from like Ultra Instinct at that point. So,
well, okay, fine. I mean, Game Knuckles Game Knuckles, baby, is 2 times universal or whatever. But I mean, like, if I was arguing for Archie.
Yeah, I have a question about that, Bev. Yeah, in this hypothetical scenario that if it was Archie Knuckles, doesn't Knuckles kind of become like God or like the guy of the universe?
The thing. It's interesting that this is up here because in this is the 25th issue of Knuckles' own like limited comic book series, which is fucking insane. And it's revealed that when he was a child, when he was an egg, Knuckles' horrible dad shot chaos energy into him, turned him into a fucking mutant. So there's his egg getting blasted with chaos energy, and because of it, Knuckles' knuckles are fucking spikes. There's his dad. He's got normal hands. I don't know. And then Knuckles has the spikes. I don't know why they did that, but what it actually did is oh, here we go. It made him a literal living Chaos Emerald. And you know, this is before Shadow was they made Shadow, right? Who like taps into the Chaos power and the Chaos Force or whatever. Chaos Force wasn't a thing yet. Here's Knuckles' true form. He's a green guy. He's literally a living Chaos Emerald. So they call that Knuckles, Chaos Knuckles, right? But in reality, that's his true form. And Chaos Knuckles is capable of insanely powerful feats. Like in this one, he just beats the shit out of Shadow. Speaking of Shadow, he like no-sells him. It's like nothing. He just shoots him with a couple Chaos arrows, and Shadow, unbounded, he's got his rings off, just wipes the floor with them. And in this issue, he travels through time and changes time itself. He just can, on a whim, decides, I'm just going to go back in time and change things to do something else. And this changes all of reality. So, you know, he's kind of this ultimate being who can control space and time on a whim without any effort whatsoever. And the kicker is, at the end of this story, where Knuckles is this living Chaos Emerald affecting time and space, he ends up sacrificing himself. He does die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or so you think in this issue. So he dies and seems to go to heaven. He meets this like chick named Aurora who's like, hello, I'm God. You're going into the afterlife or whatever. But then in this issue, it's revealed, no. Actually, Knuckles isn't in the proper afterlife. He's in the Chaos Force. And he could just go back whenever he wants. He could just go back. He could just like return to his mortal form. And it's not like God is like, I will send you back or whatever. No. She's like, oh yeah, you could just do it. And he goes, okay. And he just goes back. So
are you saying this vote is the entire
Knuckles
chat's?
I'm saying Knuckles can't die. He can literally say no to death. He could just be like, no, I'm staying here. And he'll stay.
As an important argument piece, you're saying that this is the chat's opportunity to time Liam.
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh no!
Liam just saw his chances float away.
I know. I was like,
this is
I'm
Archie.
not arguing
Knuckles,
for
though.
Archie Knuckles.
We're not arguing for Archie Knuckles.
We're not arguing
Sam,
for Archie Knuckles.
I'm
Saying
Shad.
specific time, huh?
I may
arguing.
be writing, Piccolo, normal green ass Piccolo into the poll, but
So
also
green.
Archie, green ass Archie Knuckles. I mean, that may be what appears in the poll that's about to come up.
That's not at all what's happening.
I mean,
Also,
that's not necessarily what you need to vote on.
Ben, while you do that, there's a lot of great comments have been put in the chat today, and a lot of good strategies for why people are voting for what. But I just want to call this one out, and that's Arena VA says, I got nuggets from Wendy's during this. Nuggets sounds like Knuckles, so I'm voting for Knuckles.
Word.
Incredible.
All right, so the poll is up. You guys can get your votes in as we are wrapping up the show. This is what happens
Piccolo.
when I argue for a character. I hijack the whole thing, Liam. I'm sorry.
That's true. You do stack the polls a lot, I will say.
What are you talking about? No.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Michael McDonald
Chad, Who are you leaning towards? Who do you think you would vote for?
Man. I mean, if it's Archie Knuckles, then I'm
it's not.
Is it not? It sounded
It's
like
not.
we were arguing, and Ben was doing a bit the
No,
whole time.
it's fucking not. It's not Archie Knuckles. The bit is
I'm
that he's
looking at the
pretending to argue
poll.
for.
I mean, I didn't argue for Archie Knuckles, but I'm looking at the poll right now, and it does say real green Archie Knuckles.
That sure does.
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I
whatever
mean,
you wanted to,
I mean, I'm gonna have to vote Archie Knuckles. That's where I would go.
Okay. What do you think, Sam?
Archie Knuckles.
Yeah. Okay.
Not arguing Archie Knuckles.
Yeah. Archie Knuckles.
I mean, it's their decision to vote for
I'm
whoever they want.
I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get the satisfaction of being mad. I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction.
No,
we're gonna do. I know what we're gonna do next week. I know what we're gonna do next week, and I'm gonna make whoever argues against me hell. I'm gonna make their life hell. Whoever argues against me, they're gonna die.
Not it.
It's not gonna be me.
Yeah, it's not me either.
Not it. Yeah, no, hell no.
I know what we're doing next week. We talked about it.
I know.
I know.
Well, I know which one you're picking then.
Well, hang on, Liam. Yeah. How many of these have you lost in a row? What did you just say something?
Nothing. I haven't lost this one yet.
4. I think he's 4 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't lost this one yet. Yeah. You haven't lost this one yet. And it is curious though that the poll is currently leaning towards me, with 58% of the
one of those answers is not the character that we argued about. So really,
that's true.
If it's Knuckles versus Piccolo, 0% goes to Game Knuckles because you didn't even add into the poll. So you get 0%. Well,
I guess that's fair. That's fair. I'm not necessarily winning this either. Real green Archie Knuckles is winning. That's fair.
42% is greater than 0.
What's important as I click end poll here with 58% for real green Knuckles. What's important is that you lose.
That is important.
It's now 5 losses in a row.
It's not 5 losses in a row.
It's not.
Nope. Because I didn't lose.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't lose.
Just
42 greater than 0. Actually, last I checked, mathematically 42 is in fact greater than 0, which means that I win Knuckles versus Piccolo. I win everything.
I see.
I don't know. Pulse.
I see what you mean. But I don't know.
Paul didn't say anything. Paul didn't say anything.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for sticking through me hijacking this matchup. I had no idea how that was gonna go, and last night I was like, I haven't brought my old ass Archie comics on cast in a while. Also, I said this out loud when I was like pinning them up. I've never actually looked into how much these are. I hope I didn't just like damage some collector's items. Oops. I mean, they're also not like preserved in any way. They've just been sitting in a closet for years. So who knows?
What was that special edition one?
I googled the Knuckles 25 and I saw that was $69 and I said nice.
Nice. It's a terrible comic. Knuckles' dad is fucking horrible. He like abandoned him when he was like 4 years old and was just like, oh yeah, it's for the greater good.
I hope he was abandoned. Good. I'm glad that he was abandoned. Lived a miserable life of a loser, which is not what I am.
Mecha Madness. How much is Sonic and Knuckles Mecha Madness? That's the special. It's probably the oldest one of the ones that I do.
You have Sonic the Hedgehog presents Knuckles, the Echidna Archives Volume 2?
No.
Okay, because that's listed
sounds like
$330. Let's see, Mecha Madness?
Mecha Madness.
I'm seeing ones at like 80, 60, 90.
Okay, good. They can't be that good, right? Like it's art.
Yeah.
I was just saying they can't be that pricey. They're Archie Sonic. Nobody likes them. But that's not true. Obviously, I grew up with them. There's a lot to like. So
yeah, they're like $60.
Yeah, it's not issue 1. If I had, I don't have issue 1 of like the original. I think I started with like issue 20 or something like that. If I did have the original issue, I would actually have made an effort to preserve that because that would be insane.
Yeah, but also actually, Ben, you have issue 1. WON. You won this issue. Congratulations.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hey, if you haven't seen it yet, we have been releasing bloopers for the last few episodes of Death Metal that we did this year. We do have another one coming out. We may make that membership exclusive. We think we're going to be making bloopers membership exclusive from here on out. But we are very excited to get back to doing bloopers and outtakes because Chad and I have a really fun time just shooting the shit while we voice these things, and half the time we make up Whiz and Boomstick lore that gets into the episode somehow. So yeah, you can see the behind the scenes of that in the bloopers. In fact, I believe the last one has a new canon event.
Does it?
Yeah, in Whiz and Boomstick's history, where Whiz is canonically dead? I don't know. You'll have to watch the bloopers to find out.
The gorilla comment was the one that I remember. I was dying. That broke me. Anyway, yeah. So you go. They're fun.
Ventilator Wino Eggman Bowser bloopers, because that is a big ass episode and had a lot more going on, so it took longer to put together bloopers. It'll
happen.
But they come out soon. Yeah, they are coming. They're in the pipeline.
Yeah, DJ Max have been kicking ass on not just the episodes but also the bloopers. So as actors, they've been phenomenal.
Also, Alan lost their dog. I'm sorry to hear that. I lost 2 pets this past year. It sucked. So I feel for you.
Me too.
Yeah, everybody. Oh no, same.
Yeah.
Aw.
24 was rough for the pets, man.
Yeah, dude.
Not a great pet year. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Hope you're doing better. But yeah, hopefully the shenanigans that we came into today. I've said shenanigans like 5 different times.
It's a big day. It's the new word of 2025 , shenanigans.
That's what word now.
Bringing it back. Did you say that's our word now?
Yeah, nobody else can have it. Nobody else can say shenanigans.
Oh, eject. All right, thanks for watching the show and supporting us. Happy to be back, 2025. Woo!
Let's go. Time for more Death Battle. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.